and welcome to Brands Hatch Racing Circuit. Now we're here for the launch of a number of top racing series brought to you by MSVR. Now a lot of the series you're going to see are going to have full coverage on Motors TV coming up later on in the 2012 season. To introduce some of the championships, here is MSV's Chief Executive, Jonathan Palmer.
The real thing that underpins the viability of circuits is not actually the big promoted events, it's the sheer extent of club racing, of amateurs generally who enjoy going motor racing, spend their own money doing it, want good value, and we've been very successful as MSVR in improving the quality of the service to customers. That's been appreciated, the customers being the competitors, and it's exciting for us that there is more of this racing going on. It's not just important for the race weekends, but also for the midweek testing that follows on from it. So all this means more competitors, and that drives down the cost for them as well. We have racing ranging from old single-seaters from the 70s in the monoposto. We have almost contemporary single-seaters with the F3 Cup for single-seaters, Formula 3 cars up to 2007. Moving on to sports cars, we have the Radical Championships, which are mid-engined sports prototype cars, the GT, Porsches, Ferraris, the GTs in GT Cup. In the middle of that is the Lotus Series. In saloon cars, we have things ranging from the modern Mini that races in the Mini Challenge to production BMWs over the last 10 years to Volkswagen Golfs over the last 10 and 20 years too. So as you say, there really is something for everybody. And I must say our track day trophy has been that Alex Baker's run has been very successful at that, bringing people who drivers who've just done track days, never raced before, but would quite like the idea, taking them by the hand and introducing them to racing. That's been very satisfying. I think that's one of the main ways that MSVR can continue to expand its business and get more people racing on our circuits.
Let's first take a closer look at the F3 Cup.
2012, the F3 Cup is a championship on the back of expanding grids from 2011, and it's looking very exciting indeed for 2012. Now, Aaron, what was the appeal for you of F3 Cup?
And the appeal basically is because of the low cost, you know, the great technology in the cars that you can still run, and the fantastic circuits you go. And obviously, being run by MSV is great, so it's run very well. And then on top of that, you know, you've got other benefits like the F2 tests, which is worth a hell of a lot. You know, you don't get that in, or anything even near that price quality in a lot of other series and championships that probably should. Other things include, you know, the Sunoco challenge. I'd say at the moment, realistically, you can do a season in this for around about 30 grand.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it? 30,000.
Yeah. It's not just the low cost, but the general type of the series itself. The people that are running it are very friendly. I mean, if you go into sort of British F3, it's a very cutthroat place. You know, nobody wants to talk to anybody. Nobody wants to deal with anyone they don't have to, and that, you know, that maybe is a stepping stone forward. It's like probably a bit higher up, but it's actually a nice place to be, and it's enjoyable racing. That's a very key part of it, I think.
Now let's go on to running the team. Mark, you're going to run 3 cars, I think, this year in F3 Cup. Which years of cars are you going to run this year?
Right, we're going to be running 2 306 cars with the Spanish Toyota engine in it, and that makes very, very good value for money. These engines, to give you a rough idea, a normal British F3 engine, to get it rebuilt, will cost you between £8,000 and £10,000, and you'll get about 2,000 miles on that engine. Whereas with the Spanish engine, it costs about the same to rebuild it because we've just had one done, but we'll get 10,000 miles on an engine. So you could be looking at, in club level, something like 3 seasons, and that's very, very good value for money. Last year, I really enjoyed our motorsport, or our customers really enjoyed it. So all 3 of them have come back for more, and we're actually talking to various other drivers at the moment about running a 4th car. So yeah, it's been brilliant. A real refreshing change to go to some quality circuits, have quality time, and be treated nicely.
Next, we hear from Champion of Brands coordinator, James Beckett.
Well, the Champion of Brands is the flagship category for Formula Ford 1600 as a regional venue circuit. All races obviously held at Brands Hatch, 2 races on the Indy circuit, 2 on the Grand Prix circuit, and as always with Formula Ford, it produces fantastic racing. The great thing about Formula Ford is that the cars have no wings, they run on treaded tyres, racing is really close, slipstreaming is possible, overtaking is aplenty, and the Brands Hatch circuit just offers itself so well to that type of racing, and time again the Champion of Brands has just provided one of, if not the best race on a calendar here. The Champion of Brands has been very popular amongst the competitor base, and I've had numerous requests from the competitors who want to go and race at other venues to really carry on the type of racing we've experienced here at Brands Hatch. So it was just a case of selecting some really good circuits, and I think of it really as the Champion of Brands on tour, and that's how the Super Series was born, and it runs with 4 races, pan-European, 1 round here at Brands Hatch, but the first round is in Northern Ireland at Kirkiston. We go to Croix-en-Termoir in France, and then the final round of the series is at Monza in Italy. Fantastic circuit, and it will be amazing to see Formula Fords racing there. Formula Ford is just famous for producing great racing, and I have no doubt why it won't be the same again this year.
Now we have MSVR's own series, Team Trophy and Track Day Trophy.
Track Day Trophy is a series for novice racers, so we're ultimately trying to introduce new people to going racing for the first time. So our main customer base of people is people that have been doing our track days with Club MSV and have then got their racing licence and then want the first step to going racing. And then in 2011 we started the Team Trophy, which is effectively like a graduate series for Track Day Trophy competitors. Once they've lost their novice cross on the car, the novice stipulation of their licence, then feeding them into the Team Trophy being the graduate series, and ultimately providing them with a place where they can go racing and continue to race with us. The regulations are pretty relaxed, so that cars that have been developed for track days or with no particular series in mind can come and enter. There aren't going to be any big changes in 2012, but we are looking to implement some new ideas. We'd like to run an endurance race in Team Trophy, and hopefully that'll be at Anglesey this year. We're also going to make the Team Trophy races a little bit longer, so they're going to be an hour long, again based on the fact that both series are aimed at teams of 2 drivers, although solo entries can take part. So we're looking at Team Trophy races being around about an hour long. Track Day Trophy will remain 45 minutes, with it being a novice series. We find that's enough for most of those drivers. When they're entering for the first time, they're typically the power output of their car is a little bit lower, and once they've experienced a couple of races, they then go on to develop the car, and it will typically become more powerful, at which point they're normally looking to move into the Team Trophy. I think in the last 12 months alone we've had another 100 new competitors come into the series. We're continuing to not only find new teams, but also find new drivers as well within those teams or those teams' contacts. Another thing new for 2012 is the Bike Track Day Trophy, which is a novice race series, but for bike racers this time. We run the ACU licence tests here at the MSV group of circuits, so anyone that's currently doing track days with us can come and get a race licence, and now we're going to start a series where they can go and race as well.
Moving on to some more powerful cars, here is the GT Cup.
The unique selling feature for GT Cup is the fact that you can drive a GT car in a sprint race with a single driver. So the owner driver who does not want to do long distance races with 2 drivers can drive it on his own over a 2-day weekend with a 3-race format and look forward to enjoying his cars. And this year we've opened it up to GT3 spec machinery, which encompasses other more powerful cars which up to this year haven't been allowed to run, so we've opened that up. We've had huge interest from a number of competitors with a varied assortment of cars, which should be really exciting for spectators, and that's what funds the circuits. So we have a nice broad mix of exotic cars on some fantastic tracks. The calendar is now an 8-meeting format. 7 of those are 3 sprint races of 25 minutes, ranging over 2 days. The one exception is Oulton Park, which is a single day, 2-race format. It's a compact, good calendar, great circuit, starting off at Donington, finishing off at Donington, and of course the first GT Championship this year to go to Knock Hill, so a lot of Scottish fans will be able to see this wide-ranging number of cars.
With a whole host of Lotus categories to choose from, here are some details from Richard Short.
First of all, we have the Lotus League Trophy, which was the original series we started. Really came out of the people doing track days and really wanted to move into racing their Lotuses. That started in 2007, and that is for your production-based cars. So standard production cars, be it an Elise or an Exige, cars anything ranging from 10 to 20,000 pounds. You know, really to give people the opportunity of moving from those track days into the racing. And then we had we've got Lotus Cup UK, which was a new championship in 2011. We've got some average grid sizes of over 40 cars, and this year that is actually splitting into two championships. That's the production championship, again for the more standard production cars, and then the Super Sport Championship, which is for your Exige Cup cars, your modified cars, and the Evora class, which is for the V6 engines, including the V6 Exige when that comes along, hopefully later this year. So this year it will be sharing the grids for the two championships, and next year in 2013, you know, moving on to have split grids, one for each championship. And then we have Lotus Cup Europe, which is obviously similar to the Lotus Cup UK, but from has a European perspective, and we go to circuits in Europe as well. A couple of years ago we had the Lotus Festival at Snetterton, you know, people queuing up to get in there, queues on the motorway, and again this year we're hoping to have a similar thing coming back to Brands Hatch where there was a Lotus Festival originally, and really now we're hoping to get the Formula 1 car along. And it'll really be a good event with lots of people coming in, a whole kind of family atmosphere as well as some great racing, and we're really looking forward to that this year.
Well, I hope that gives you a little idea of what there is in store for the 2012 season, but there'll be more championships to look out for after the break.